Well, hello everybody. Nice to be here with you all. My name is Felicity. I work for Somerset Skills and Learning as one of our community tutors. My home base is the Frome office, but Somerset Skills and Learning are based all across Somerset. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the wider company today and a little bit more about what I do within that as well, what my workshops and delivery is on. So let's have a little look. Click. There we go. So Somerset Skills and Learning, our commitment as a education provider is to make positive impact on people's lives through learning. So we offer a range of education deliveries from I sit within the community learning, but we'll have a little look at all the different areas here. So Somerset Skills and Learning offer GCSEs, so English and Maths GCSEs, functional skills qualifications. They do other professional qualifications. So we've got things like animal care. I'm trying to think off the top of my head of some of the other ones that we've got going on. There's kind of early years education qualifications, and then similarly tied in we've got apprenticeships. So there's a broad range of different apprenticeships qualifications, obviously with the practical application. Digital skills, so there's a qualification and that comes under community learning as well. And there's a real mix of online courses and face-to-face delivery. So at our centres, and I'll talk about where the different centres are across the county, but there's a real range, and often particularly within the community learning, if things can be offered online, I think particularly post-pandemic that's much more comfortable and much more accessible for a lot of people now. So there is a large amount of online learning, but also a good amount of face-to-face for those that learn better that way. So workshops and wellbeing, that kind of comes under the community learning aspect of Somerset Skills and Learning, which is where I sit. So our offices across, or our, I say offices because that's the bit that I work in, but our classrooms are based in Taunton. We've got quite a big building there with lots of different classrooms. Bridgewater is one of our other centres. Yeovil, the Frome Centre, which is where I said I'm based, and we've got 3 classrooms there. Shepton Mallet is a lovely little centre. There's 1 classroom there, and then again online learning. So all of our centres have Wi-Fi, tea and coffee, drink making facilities, kitchens, fridges, water coolers. So when you do come, or if you do come and access any of our centres, all of these are available for all the learners to access and use. And the classrooms all have the new interactive whiteboards. So there's brilliant facilities, lots of computers. Every classroom is equipped with computers, and then the big interactive whiteboards as well. So it means that learning, whatever programme or course people are on, it's all kind of really, new and great resources to be able to use to access the learning. So community learning, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that pocket of Somerset Skills Learning, and if you want to know a bit more about any of the other areas, when we've got the cameras on and you ask questions, do chip in and ask me a little bit more about those. But community learning is education for people predominantly 19 plus, or is for 19 plus. The average group size, so we run workshops which are kind of one-off, and they tend to be 2 to 4 hours long, or courses which can be anywhere from kind of 3 to 6 weeks is sort of the average, and they tend to have 5 as our minimum to run a workshop, and 15 is the maximum average, depending on what the workshop is. So some of our community learning, we have things like willow weaving or Christmas crafts. Some of those might be slightly limited in numbers due to space and resources, and then some of our other ones, so some of our online delivery might go up to sort of 20 participants per class, because there's much more space to allow that. So the entry requirements, in order to be able to sign on, and you might well have had a leaflet, hopefully if you live near one of our bases, we've done some door drops on our prospectuses with different things going on, so you may well have seen those, had those come through. All the courses this is sort of the strapline that tends to come up with them, is that they're for absolute beginners and those with more experience. You don't need any qualifications to access community learning, just a willingness and a commitment to come along and to learn. And that's the one thing that we do ask, that if people enroll, that you kind of commit, particularly if it's a course, to coming along to all the sessions within that course. So there are centres, online learning and community locations. And fees, let's unpack that a little bit here. So our community learning for 19 plus is free for anyone to access if you are unemployed or earn less than 20,000 a year. You've also got to live in Somerset to come under the free bracket, not including Bath and North East Somerset. And you've got to have lived in the UK for the past 3 years or have refugee status. If you don't come under that bracket, if you either live outside of Somerset or earn over 20,000, then it's £5 an hour per session. And like I said, the average workshop is sort of 2-3 hours. So maximum really sort of £15 a session, which for accessing the broad range of different offers we have is really, really good, really, really fair priced. I'm sure a lot of, like the willow weaving, that's one of the ones that happened last week that's super popular, often is really, really expensive to access. So the whole heart of community learning is that education and upskilling is available to everybody, and that nobody is excluded from that. So there's a real broad offer, and it is made as accessible as possible to people. So some of our community learning topics that are currently available are things like business administration, maths. We've got a big push on upskilling in terms of maths. So it's not, alongside our GCSE and our functional skills qualifications, there is also a lot of other maths skills, upskills, your maths workshops and courses available across the county. So if that's an area that you think, well, I would like a bit of help in, there's workshops in supporting your children with their maths, looking at specific things like taxes or understanding your mortgage or anything to do with numbers. There's loads at the moment up on our website. There's loads of different offers around maths. Language. So whether that's English or ESOL, so speaking English as a foreign language. Again, it's one of our really, really popular community learning streams. We've got lots of ESOL workshops running, and there is also an ESOL qualification. So speaking English, if English isn't your first language, the opportunity to come along, meet face to face with other people, and gain those skills. Beauty, we've got a beauty tutor, Georgie, who works a lot. So she used to work within the beauty industry, and now she runs our community learning offer. She does a lot of face-to-face and Zoom with things like skincare for certain requirements or certain age groups, and hand and foot care, all sorts of different great things through her. Family learning. So these tend to run through the school holidays, and again, our community learning learner audience is the 19 plus, but we do 19 plus kind of parents that work alongside children, so bringing your kids along, and we have things going on in some of our libraries, some of our community spaces, things like supporting your child with their reading, or I do one called creative storytelling. We've got one coming up in Frome Library in the Easter holidays. We're going to look at Tiger Who Came to Tea, make some crafts, get some tools to help our kids engage with their reading, their learning. But there's a wide range. We do through the summer holidays, we've got something called Art in the Park that runs in Frome. I'm talking predominantly about Frome because that's where I'm based. Frome Victoria Park in the summer, we've got a day where we've got 5 different tutors running different workshops, different creative art workshops and music workshops that parents and their kids can come along and join in with. Animal care, I mentioned earlier, that's one of our newer offers. So we've got some community learning workshops with animal care, which are basically workshops so you can have a bit of a taster. It's things like pet first aid, grooming, skincare, I think, for animals. So how to check and maintain good health within our pets. And then that also is a qualification offer through Somerset Skills and Learning. And the aim, we'll kind of look at pathways a little bit in a minute, but the aim for all of these is that community learning can sort of be tasters. You can kind of dip your toe in, learn a little bit of a skill, learn a baseline, and if you are interested in then going on and getting a full qualification, you can move on to one of our pathways and get qualification in most of these areas. So childcare and parenting, we have a practical parenting series that looks at things like how to talk about emotions with your children, or how to support emotional regulation, having tools to engage in literacy. Again, a kind of a bit of a crossover with that family learning. Let me have a think about some of our other ones. In fact, I think I've got them listed later on, so we'll have a look at those. Care and neurodiversity. So we have a range of things to support with understanding mental health and neurodiversity. So it covers things like autism, ADHD, dyslexia, all the different types of brains, the way that people are made differently, understanding them a little bit better, and getting some tools and some equipment so that we can best support our loved ones. And they're open to everybody. It can be parents, it can be professionals. There's lots of a range of different workshops that just look at different snippets of topics along those, and offer some practical advice and some help with those. Team leading and management is another area where there's lots of community learning workshops. Fitness and outdoors, we've got some great partners that work with community learning, and there's some really wonderful things going on out in the community. We have things going on in the Mel's Walled Garden through the summer. We've got walking groups, nautical walking, I think, and forest bathing is another one of our workshops, which looks great fun. Really highly educated outdoor tutors that have got some wonderful things going on. Digital skills, so like I said, at Somerset Skills and Learning there are qualifications through a lot of these, but also the community learning ones might be a course. It might be a 3-week course where you can come along and learn some of the basics. Kezia does things like how to use your new smartphone, so particularly in the new year or after Christmas, or at various points in the year, she focuses on different topics: how to get your head around WhatsApp, or how to get the most out of various settings on your phone, understanding Excel, different kind of digital. There's a real range of different digital skill workshops that are available there. Music, so we have a music therapist who does some work with us, and she does a lot of family learning, actually, runs workshops with families to engage with their kids through music, which always sound like great fun. Personal development and well-being, this is things like how to effectively communicate, or things like our self-care MOT. So how do we do a check-in with ourselves and learn tools to equip us to better maintain our own well-being or our own personal development. Arts, crafts and photography, and this is one of our biggest and most popular areas of community learning. We've got some really well engaging and well-trained tutors who run a range of different arts, crafts and photography workshops, from practical skills, learning practical skills, to using the arts in a more therapeutic way. So lots of well-being arts workshops and courses, which are often really popular, and it's great to have that kind of community input. We get a real mix of different people coming along to these workshops, which add that extra element, and what it makes them, you kind of get more out of them than attending things remotely. So here's a few images here of one of our classrooms. These are all workshops that I've run over the last year, just to give you little snapshot tasters. So at the bottom here, we did a making air dry clay coasters. That was just before Christmas. Everybody came in. It was a 2-part session. We designed them, made them, came back the next week and decorated them. And for those that wanted to give them as gifts at Christmas, we wrapped them up to be able to share. Colour codes. So this one at the top left is using colour to explore and express mood and emotion. So we have a workshop here on how we can connect our emotions to colour, or express through colour. Lots of good fun. Lots of different art resources and materials to get stuck in with. And then so I've picked 4 creative ones here because they look, I think the classroom looks nicer when they're all set up. So I've got Creative Adventures is the other image there, and that is a 6-week course that runs. Again, it's about any skill, any ability, coming in and getting stuck in with a range of different art materials for health and well-being, and looking at some of the theory behind that, and some of the reasons why being creative is really good for our mental health. But this is what the classrooms look like. So it's the same rooms for our English, maths, different things as well. As you can see, there are computers around the edge of the room there, and our big whiteboards at the front there. So I'm just going to go through some of the workshops before we switch cameras on and have a bit of time to chat. So these are the ones that I offer. So I've worked at Somerset Skills and Learning for just over a year now, and have been kind of adapting and evolving my offer. My background is working within special educational needs, predominantly with students on the autistic spectrum in school settings, and I've brought that into my role here. So these workshops here are 7 workshops around unpacking and understanding autism. So all of these run online actually. They tend to be on a Thursday, and they roll every term. These 7 repeat. And actually, we've had such a big increase in interest this term that they're running more than once next term. So after Easter, Introduction to Autism's on about 3 different times, I think, and I've started to put in some evening times as well to help it become more accessible to a range of different people. So we look at things like understanding the autistic brain. So what is going on inside the brain? How is it working a bit differently? I do my best to unpack a bit of neuroscience with it and understand kind of what's going on with that. We look at sensory sensitivity. What is it? What's stimming? And each week has our standalone workshops, so you can kind of dip in and out to the ones that you're interested in, to things that you know lots about. You can kind of skip over, or you can do the full run of the 7 workshops. So yeah, that's why it's laid out as workshops rather than a course, so that people can kind of come along to the ones that they want to. Similarly, the practical parenting series that I mentioned earlier is one that I run. We look at talking about emotions with your child, ideas for activities on a budget. So often when we're coming up to school holidays, we might run this one to have a look at some ideas. What things can we do to keep the kids entertained when we're on school holidays? Supporting a child's executive function skills. So looking again at the brain a little bit, and executive function skills are things that everybody learns from birth up to age 25, and it's things like time management, organisation, your ability to regulate or impulse control, all these different things that as young children we're still kind of getting hold of, but actually we learn them right up to 25. And there are things that we can do as parents, as education providers, as loved ones, to support our children in learning and developing some of these skills. Supporting your neurodiverse child, so looking at some tools, some practical tools to aid with communication, to aid with how do we practically timetable our week so that there's a bit more structure? How do we bring in tools to help with transitioning? All these different things that might be difficult points for different children. And 5 ways to well-being. So how, as a parent, can you regulate yourself and support your child to feel happy, to feel healthy, and what are the different things that we can do, the different practical things we can put into our week that just help us as family units, as individuals, feel like we're engaging with each other and we're being present, and that life is not just kind of tumbling away with us. So some of our creative workshops, and there's a real range, and these change throughout the year. Different seasons, there's seasonal crafts and different things as well. But I've mentioned most of those, I think, as we've gone. And then, as I said, some of our beauty here, just as examples. And there are hundreds of different community learning workshops up on our website. And some of the pathways of development, I'll just touch on this before I finish here. So, for example, if you did an animal care workshop with community learning, it might then go on to some of our multiply some of our maths input. You could look at things like gaining skills, weight, feeding, measure, medication, understanding those things better. Our 16 to 19, there's a diploma, a level 2 diploma in animal care. Adult skills also has the level 2 diploma in animal care, and then it could move on to an apprenticeship, and you could kind of continue that path onto higher education. So if there's an area that you think, I'm interested, I wonder what being a TA is like, or I wonder what working within animal care is like, you can hop on a community learning course, find out a little bit more about the topic area, and we can support you in setting you up on the pathway. A lot of that can be done in house, or kind of signposting you on to where you would go to follow on your journey to get your qualifications or shift paths. So again, this is a pathway example for early years. So a lot of our neurodiversity parenting, and it might be that community learning, actually, that's the level that you access. That's brilliant with Somerset Skills and Learning. You get equipped, you get those tools, and you're not looking to become a qualified TA or whatever it is. That actually you want practical help for your own life, for your own family, for your own home. And that's absolutely fine as well. So Somerset Skills and Learning, we have a website, as I've mentioned. It's there if you want to take a quick picture or a snapshot of it. I'm sure resources are being shared as well from these different workshops, but you can ring if you want to chat to somebody directly and talk through different options. We've got a number that you can ring to enrol, or you can turn up at a centre. If you have identified and can locate one of the centres, you're always welcome to pop in and chat to staff there. But if you can get hold of leaflets, or if you see any of our posters around, they've got QR codes on that take you straight to the website as well. And yeah, you can kind of have a look at every term. The website gets updated and different things get added, so it does kind of evolve and change. And if ever there's something you say, well, I wish there was this, or I wish there was that, do ring us, do get in touch, because it might already be running, or it might be that something that's in the pipeline that we can get in place soon. Yeah, brilliant, thank you.